and gentlemen, it's myself, Nasipi Zwani. I'm back with another episode of Sludge Underground podcast. Mereece, really stoked to have you on the show. Thank you for joining me, and I'm looking forward to this episode and just learning more about you. So, briefly, or rather as an introduction, let the people know what you do to anyone who's not familiar with your work and how long you've sort of been doing this for.
Thank you so much for having me on, Nasipe. Shout out to all the guys that are listening right now. Or if you're not listening, you're watching the girl, man. So, Mereece Dry, I'm a South African multimedia personality. By profession, I'm a radio presenter, but I am diving into other things. I am tapping into TV, MC, and also, hopefully, people have been complimenting me about this. We are going to add on actress. So, in summary, in short, I just call myself a multimedia personality, and a multimedia personality consists of all of those stuff that I just mentioned.
How are you so good at so many different things? And also, when did you sort of figure out that, you are, a multi-talented, individual that's just able to blend in and just jump into anything that she wants to jump into, at will?
To be honest, first things first, radio, TV, MC, and okay, let's not put actress because I haven't even started with that part, right? There are some similarities here and there, but it requires a skill, and you need to learn the skill. It just so happens that I'm always willing to learn to enhance my skill because if we're being honest, South Africa is very, very, there's a lot of gatekeeping in South Africa. So you cannot stick to one craft. You need to always expand yourself into different things. And by expanding yourself, you're not really gatekeeping because society likes to think, or the public likes to think, that once you do so many things in the entertainment industry, you are gatekeeping, you're not giving other people a chance. I mean, you need to live, you need to survive. So there's no other way but to learn other skills like being an MC, like being on TV, like being on radio. So I'm just like willing to learn different crafts, and it just so happens that I'm really good at all of those things. But I started off with radio, and now moving on to TV. But the first love is TV. So it was like a vice versa thing. Initially, I thought I was going to be on TV. Boom. God was like, you're not going to do that. You are going to land up on DYR doing radio. So for those who don't know, let me give you a small brief, Nyana, about Mereece Dry. So I'm actually a financial accountant graduate. Many people don't know that. So whenever I bump into people and I just let them, I'm like, I'm actually a financial accounting graduate. Like, what? You? But aren't you in media? I thought you studied media. Yeah, man, I actually didn't study media. It's just like a God-given talent. In my second year, firstly, I've always been passionate about media. I remember growing up, I was always that kid. I'm still that kid in the family, just always papile, being forward, outspoken, and all of that. I always used to tell my granny, like, yo, gran, I actually want to model. And my granny used to be like, no, you can't model because, the girls on the runway show their boobs and all of that. No, you can't do that. um, yeah, man. And then I changed and I was like, I actually want to dance. And I was pretty good at dancing. I was actually well known in my community that Mereece Dry, if you're looking for a dancer, go to Mereece Dry, add her in the group or whatever. She's really dope. And then I moved to Durban, and that changed. I started TV presenting in my room. Nothing serious, nothing hectic. Thereafter, graduated matric, moved on to varsity. So varsity is like a different place. It's like you meet different people, different characters. I had the privilege to meet with a gent. It was a brief thing, hey. So he told me about, so DUT was actually having auditions and he had briefed me up about it. He was like, you know what, dog, I actually see you on radio. I think you actually have the talent. And I was a bit, shy. I was like, I don't know anything about radio. Do I actually want to do radio? Because I'm all about TV. Because my initial goal was, I just want to be on Yo TV. I just want to be on Channel O or MTV base. So I'd like to say my radio career started in DUT. So go for the audition, passed the first round, the second round, the finale, and unfortunately, I did not, win, but it's fine. It's all good. Um, Thereafter, I think a solid 2 months, I was not doing anything in relation to media because I was a bit sad. Like, okay, why didn't they pick me? Why not Mereece Dry? I thought I was so talented. I got the energy, I got everything what they're looking for. But yeah, didn't work out. And then a very close friend of mine, Mohammed, he he met my current program manager named J. Do. So J. Do was actually an MC at some events, and then Mohammed put in a word for me. He was like, "Yo, I actually have a friend that's really passionate about being in the industry, TV, radio. Can you please hook her up with something?" Thereafter, they exchanged numbers, and then I found myself with my current program manager's number, texted him, had just a couple of, well, we had a chat, pardon me, over WhatsApp, and thereafter he called me in for an interview, and we sat down. I remember that interview because he said something so crazy, not really crazy, but then it still sticks, still with me up until this day. So during the interview, we're talking, and all of that. He tells me he loves my energy, he loves everything about me. Then he was like, "But if we are being honest with each other between you and I, what do you actually want to do?" When you're going for an interview, you have to act very passionate about something. So me, I was there like, I love radio. Radio is like the best thing ever. I love radio. Meanwhile, I'm capping. If we're being honest with each other, what do you want to do? And I was like, hey man, to be honest,
Yeah.
I actually want to be on TV. I love TV presenting. But I'm here because DYR is so well known in Durban, in fact, in KZN, and it's a huge platform. So why not use this platform to get my name out there? And hopefully, as time goes by, I do land that TV deal or whatever. So that happened. And he was like, okay, cool. Let's see how it works. And that's how the radio journey started. And I'm like so grateful for that journey because I've been exposed to so many individuals and so many creatives within the industry. But I think we'll get into that later. So that's how my radio career launched. I was in my third year when I joined DYR. No, second year, pardon me, towards the end of the year. So I've been with DYR since I think it's going for the fourth year. So the first 2 years, I was actually shadowing Kevin Minter Brown, who was a presenter at East Coast Radio. And I've been mentored by JD Mdu, my current program manager, who's been at Kakasi FM as well. So I went through the whole process of just attaching myself. So for some people who don't know what shadowing, that's like a radio term. So shadow is basically you are attaching yourself to an individual within that department just to learn more and familiarize yourself with the work there. So did that for a solid 2 years. And then I moved on to working with Lifa, who did primetime slots between the times 7 up until 10, and worked with Mike. And yeah, I was getting bored here. I was like, I'm always the co-host. Why am I not, leading, and then kind of brought that up to management, got my own slots. That was a graveyard slot, which I did the most out of. It was really dope. So that was from like 12 up until 2, a 2 hour slot. I really didn't have much direction as to what I was doing on that slot, but I know that I was speaking a whole lot of cool stuff and just playing dope music and all of that. Radio has a reshuffle every year. So DYR had a reshuffle, and we normally called in for meetings and sit down. Okay, so we think you can be fit for this particular show. I got called in for a meeting and they were like, okay, cool, we have an opening since you have a 9 to 5 and you can't really do a prime time slot. We have an opening for a hip hop shot slot, pardon me.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, great, hip hop. Like, come on now, throw it at me. And bear in mind, it was a hip hop slot during a prime time slot.
Ooh, lovely.
Prime time, yeah. That show was from 7 to 10. So I was like, most definitely. I mean, people are going to tune in, more listeners. People are going to know the brand Mereece Dry. So that happened, and I've been rocking with the plug show with Mereece Dry ever since, man. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop all the way. So I think Etubane, if you know Mereece Dry, automatically you think of the plug show, hip hop show, hip hop show, hip hop show. Yeah, man, that's just basically how the radio career of Mereece Dry started and how I landed up on the show that I'm currently doing.
Mm. You know, Maurice, there are so many things, that were mentioned there that I feel like there would be really, dope sort of talking points to follow up on. But one of the interesting ones that you mentioned was, the gatekeeping and having to, have your hands in multiple fingers in multiple pots and such. So with you, I mean, if you were to advise, like give anyone advice who might be maybe, going through something right now where they're like, gatekeepers might be a bit of a problem and such. How what's the best way to sort of move around, especially in Durban, because I'm pretty sure this is the one place where that is pretty much rife, right? So maneuvering around Durban specifically, let's make Durban the focus. What have you found have been the best practices to sort of make it past the gatekeepers and put yourself in a lane where they have no control over that?
If we are being honest, gatekeeping is something that's always going to be there, especially in Durban. Durban is so freaking small. Like I have been turned down by certain people because I am not popular enough. I am not the brand that I'm looking for. Yes, it may sound harsh, but that's like the actual reality of it. And that's okay, man. I feel like if you want to grow as a brand in Durban and you want to be known, start your own thing from scratch. Start your own thing, be consistent. Eventually, people are going to gravitate towards your work, especially if you're putting effort into your work. You are finances like the big thing when you are starting up something. You are willing to pour in some cash. You're willing to use your time, whether it can be like 3 a.m., you're working on whatever. You just need to be passionate. You just need to be consistent. Gatekeeping is always going to be there, man. Like Durban is the hub of gatekeeping, and Durban is the hub of talent. So it's crazy. Like, okay, we got talent, but yet at the same time, there's so much of gatekeeping. But back to what I said, start your own thing. And I'm going to speak, or should I say, I'm going to make an example of myself. Right now, I am part of a podcast called It's Not Common Sense Loud. And Sipe is the founder of It's Not Common Sense Loud. And he is funding the entire thing on his own, lighting, cameraman, every single thing. And he makes time and he puts in the effort. And looking back at when we started, it was like literally nothing. It was like, okay, these guys, what's happening? Podcast, Durban, what's happening? Yabona. But looking at us now, the growth, even with you guys right now, I mean, it's like this growth because people are gravitating towards the content. And like I said, there's going to be gatekeeping. Oksala, there's going to be gatekeeping, like it or not. So back to what I was saying. Um, Within that podcast as well, I have like my own segment called You Know the Vibes. If you do follow me on the socials, you'll find it all there. I shoot it on my own. I'm just really, really blessed to have an amazing partner that helps me out with lighting and camera and all of that. But it's purely from my Mereece Dry lighting, my time, setting up, editing, the editing process. Well, my partner does it, but I'm also there willing to learn as well. So that should tell you that, okay, I see the industry. It's terrible. It's gatekeeping. People are not paying my rates. People are not willing to pay my rates in Durban. So what am I going to do differently? here's an opportunity. I have a camera, have lighting, have a partner that's in the industry as well. He's a photographer. So why not create my own thing and put it out there on Instagram, YouTube, and wherever? And I've seen growth. I've seen so much of growth. People are just loving the content. At first, obviously, it's going to be shaky. It's going to be very crazy. Like, oh my gosh, um, what if I'm not saying something correctly? What if I'm not doing something correctly? What if the lighting is whack or whatever? You need to practice. You need to continue until you get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
In fact, even if you get there, it's still a journey. You are never satisfied. So
Yeah.
Durban is freaking small, dog. Durban is ridiculous. That's like a whole nother topic on its own.
Yeah.
And I think maybe in Joburg it's probably worse, but they give you opportunities there.
Mm.
I feel like Durban is just as much as they see talent, but if they don't know you like that, if you are not part of a certain clique,
Yeah.
if you are not cool enough, if you are not begging someone in the DMs, please help me out and all of that, they're not gonna work with you. Straight up, they're not gonna work with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Basically, what I'm trying to say is start your own thing, grow from that. Maybe you might find yourself in Joburg in a production house if you are a TV presenter like me, working with the biggest stars. But you know your background. You started off somewhere.
So if Joburg, grants you more opportunities, why is Mereece Dry still in Durban?
Um, Joburg has what I'm looking for. I want to get into TV more than anything. I have been turned down so many times by quite a few radio stations, let's say commercial radio stations. I've I've sent in so many demos and I do get a response, right? But I'm not KZN as in I don't speak isiZulu kakhulu, or I'm just not that brand that they're looking for. So I've given up on Durban in terms of going commercial. Durban does not also have TV production houses. So it's either you start up your own thing or you move to Joburg. The reason why I'm still in Joburg mainly, no, pardon me, Durban mainly is because funds. Apart from being in the media space, I also have a 9 to 5 because we need to fund all of this. We need to look good on the grabs. I have a 9 to 5, so I just cannot pick up and leave and say I'm chasing a dream. I could simply do that. People have done it, and sometimes it works in their favor. But I'm not a risk taker like that. I just cannot just pack up and leave and say, you know what, I'm tired of Durban. Joburg has everything that I need. So it's a process right now. I am trying to connect with a lot of people in Joburg. It's a whole different scene in Joburg compared to Durban. It's like a whole different scene. I have had offers where, okay, here's an offer. It's on the table now. We are about to put something together for you. We like you. You are so talented. But the the barrier there was I'm based in Durban, and I cannot just like I said, pick up and leave and go to Joburg. But I think maybe next year, maybe towards the end of the year, I might find myself in Joburg. But guys, it's not a easy thing where you wake up in the morning and say, I want to go to Joburg. No, man, you need money. You need to, like right now, I feel like in Durban, I'm not really known. Like people don't know me, like people don't know my craft like that. And I still need to work on Mereece Dry, the brand. Yes, some people may know me, some of the clicks in Durban, Mereece Dry and all of that.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people know me. So if I just pick up and leave and go to Joburg where nobody knows me, I don't have no clicks, no friends, who's gonna take me seriously there? You know? Because talents can only go so far. You need your finances. You need to know, you need to have connections. As much as it sounds terrible, you need to have connections. You need to know the right people. Talent can take you, yeah, it's going to take you there, but what do you have to offer? Mereece Dry, how big are you in Durban that you think you're going to dominate Joburg? You see? So I think It hasn't happened. I think it's all God's timing, man. It hasn't happened because I feel like God is just trying to work on me in Durban, like build my brand, protect me until I'm ready to go to that big city in Joburg, where you know what, I'm Mereece Dry. I've done this year. I've worked at this commercial radio station. I've done so much in Durban. Here's my craft. Take me seriously in Joburg. It's not so easy. It's not easy. Hey, it's not easy, guys.
You're just looking at you mentioned, the plug there at DYR, and you get to work with a lot of hip hop artists then, considering that it's a hip hop show, prime time slots and everything. I need you to tell me from your perspective, what is up with these hip hop artists? What is up with these guys who, you mentioned the clicks, you mentioned having to suck up to some of these guys. You mentioned it obviously goes deeper than that. Now, as someone who is experienced, you even hosted, you were hosting at what you call this, the Magic Experience there. Shout out OB Magic, and
Hey.
you are basically like right within the culture, right? So, from your perspective, why are these guys like this? Because I can tell you now, right? I know a lot of the guys in the alt scene, the metal scene, fuzz and everything like that. And I can tell you that I feel like that part of Durban is a lot more accepting and a lot more open to working with other artists. I mean, we've literally had an influx of these young kids who have started up bands and they've literally come in and they're on every lineup. These guys are doing the most. And Durban, the alt scene welcome them with open arms. But then you'll find that in hip hop, it's more like, well, who is this guy or what is this? What is it with these hip hop guys that makes them like this?
I think it's ego, 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 ego. Like, come on, guy, you be humble. Like the fact that you're on Durban Youth Radio on my show, dog. I'm giving you a platform. Be humble. Apart from having an ego, let me just be specific. Hip hop, Durban hip hop artists don't take themselves seriously. If you were to see the BTS, the admin that I have to go through, like with radio, okay, like I respond to my DMs, right? If you hit me up, yo, you want to come on my show? I'll be like, okay, chilled. I will just pass on the message to my producer and he will do something and he'll keep in contact with you. Okay, my producer will communicate with this artist who doesn't have a manager, which is fine. No problem. I don't have a manager. I manage myself as well. But the issue comes when I ask you for a portfolio. When I ask you, you're an artist, do you have a clean version of your song? And you're unable to provide that. Like, you go on radio, you think I'm going to play F&Bs. It's Durban Youth Radio. It's youth. I'm appealing to the public, the youth more especially, you know? Okay, cool. Then I tell you, you know what? I'm unable to bring you on my show unless you have a portfolio. A portfolio doesn't have to be fancy, man. You can simply go onto Canva. I use Canva for my portfolio. Or you can just draft like a PDF, go on Word, write something about, okay, Nasipe is a producer, he's that, he's that, he's that. You are giving me information to work with, and I see potential. If I see, okay, uhlanganisile lo muntu, kodwa-ke he delivered something to me, yabona, that's when I'm able to take you seriously, you know? With regards to music, like I said, is your music clean? Is your music appealing to the public? I don't really worry about stats. Some radio stations do worry about stats, but I don't, man. I'll give you an opportunity if I see potential or if my producer sees, you know what, we can work with this, right? Can your music be playlisted on radio as a whole? You know, because there's some songs that are not supposed to be on radio, you know? So that's basically it. So if you are unable to provide that as a hip hop artist to me, I'm not going to take you seriously. So once I get back to it and I say, you know what, work on those things and A, B, and C and get back to me, then I'm a bad guy. Mereece Dry, you're not giving us an opportunity. You want to interview the big stars. Well, let me tell you, the big stars have managers. The big stars, the managers communicate from the get-go. They they work on time. They give me portfolios. They give me a clean version of the song. So yeah, I'm gonna interview Nasty C. I'm gonna interview Blackie because he's taking himself seriously. Like I said, if you don't have the resources, you can make a plan. And just going back to egos, if you come up to me with an attitude, I will call humble. Dog, being humble takes you so many places. I have been given so many opportunities just by being humble. You know, I'm Mereece Dry. People say, oh, dog, you're Mereece Dry. You know, you're a radio personality. Now you're doing TV, dog. How are you so chilled? And I'm always telling them, you need to be humble. You need to be humble because you never know where your opportunity lies. I'm talking to you right now, Nasipe. You could be loving my energy. You could be loving, look, dog, you're so humble. I want to work with you on my future project that's going to be featured on Mnet. Now that's a win for me. And how I got that? Just by being humble. So a lot of hip hop cats are just arrogant and are just so rude. And you're like, okay, damn. Like, okay, it's like they doing me a favor by being on my show. It's crazy, dog. It's crazy. And I'm not the one to be like, dog, get your act straight. Dog, um, do this right, you know, and all of that in relation to just basically having an ego. I'll just keep quiet because you're setting up yourself for failure. It's a trap. If you don't know the number one rule in this industry as a whole, that's being humble. You've messed it up for yourself. Big time. Big time. So that's where I see, or should I say that's where hip hop artists in Durban lack. They have egos and they are not taking themselves seriously.
And that self entitlement as well, I feel, is there. It's very much present because
Mm,
we get it all the time. Like, approach is very important, I feel. And I feel like sometimes it's cool if someone wants to get to the point, someone comes through and is like, yo, how do I get on the show or whatever. But, you know, if someone is just, yeah, I hate how rude some of them can be and how entitled they can feel, or rather, it's absolutely terrible. But do you feel like there is, obviously you've given us, sort of the solutions and how they should go about, approach, and how they should go about, getting their stuff ready and sorted and stuff. Would you say this applies to more of a senior level as well, say promoters and such in Durban and such? Would you feel that that is something that is very much, present in that realm as well? Because if it took someone like OB Magic to make his own show,
hmm
in order to be the headlining act and basically fund that himself with his team and such, when you find that there are promoters in Durban, some of the big guys, not to mention any names, but who could have literally, made that themselves and booked, and had him be the main artist. Do you feel like this whole ego thing and sort of gatekeeping in a way as well, reaches to that extent, and where promoters as well are the ones who are sort of, preventing some of the younger guys from maybe breaking through?
Firstly, shout out to Obi Magic. That show was incredible, man. Shout out to Obi, pardon me, for just giving me a platform to handle the crowd. Um, yeah, man. For the fact that Obi had to, this is just an example, Nem. For the fact that Obi had to put together his own show, um, just screams and it tells you that there's a lot of gatekeeping in people promoters basically in Durban. Um, Durban promoters are part of a clique. There's different cliques, you know. I know a couple of promoters, on a friendship level, and they are very honest with me, and they tell you if you are not popping, if you are not that guy, like I said earlier on in Durban, we are not going to promote your work. You know, if you are not willing to pay a certain amount, then we are not going to promote your work. So, yes, promoters in Durban don't want to assist unless they are benefiting from you. By benefiting, they want they want to promote somebody that's big already, or somebody that has money, that's willing to cough up those K's. You see, so it partially does contribute to a lot of cats not, climbing up or having a smooth journey. It could be that. Um, but yeah, man, promoters in Durban are gatekeeping, and they are not willing to give a lot of kids a platform to perform on their show. And it's so irritating and annoying when they say they're doing it for the youth. And then when you go to the lineup, specifically music, you find old cats on the lineup, and you probably find one upcoming artist, and that's all. Then they go back and say, we're doing it for the youth. And that's about it. Take it or leave it. I remember P Dog had like a whole rant on Facebook, which I was full on supporting. And he was just delivering pointers, like facts on facts on facts on facts on facts. And he was like, how can you have an event and you say it's for the youth, but you're literally bringing A-listers? Okay, have your 1, 2 A-listers, but the entire lineup, dog, the entire lineup is A-listers. And then you having like 2 cats that are upcoming, and then you say you're doing it for the youth. Get out of here, man. That's a joke. That's a joke. And promoters were like, no. Promoters were like full on supporting the guy that put on the event. Obviously, if you are an event organizer, you need a team. And part of the team, there are promoters. So the promoters were like supporting the guy. They were like, nah, man. No, he's doing a lot for the youth, and you just have to take it or leave it. That's your own king and all of that. And I was like, oh, snap. So that's how it is in Durban, you know? And it just goes back to what I've been saying and what she said as well. There's a lot of gatekeeping in Durban, especially for the cats. But if you see that happening, do something differently, do something there. There's always going to be something that you're going to do in the industry, and you'll probably do it differently and way better than the other guy. You see, so I think the cats shouldn't depend on promoters in Durban because they are not helpful. So just push your own craft, man. Do something for yourself. Create a platform. Reach out to people. Yabona, in a professional manner.
Yeah. I love that you're also dishing out the solutions. We're not just talking about the problems, but also how you go about, fixing that. Now, as someone who said to me that you literally, Joburg is the holy grail for Mereece Dry, that is the ultimate goal, right? So now, if you had to give some advice to any upcoming hip hop artist, would you also then advise them to maybe leave Durban as soon as possible? Would you advise them to sort of stay in Durban and sort of, stick it out? Is Durban basically a suitable environment for the upcoming artist?
Um, I said this at the beginning. Durban is the hub of talent. And I always say this on my show. Durban, dude, we produced Blackie. We produced Haibo Baningi, Abo Nasty C, your mainstream artists, like your headliners. We've seen Blackie now, he's touring overseas. He's doing so much, and Blackie even mentions this. He says this, that he wasn't growing in Durban. He didn't see much in Durban. He had to go to Joburg. And he says this in an interview, and there's a song as well that he mentions. And there's this other guy, Andy Ivy. He says in a song that Nkatele Tegu, Ngisaye Gol. Joburg is where it is. Because Durban, man, I feel like our art, creativity, people don't pay much attention. Now your big guys now, yabona, your management, your municipality, they don't put in the work for us as creatives. They focus on other things. Yabona, they don't think. I feel like um, they don't think creativity in Durban is worth putting in money. Yabona,
Yeah.
just paying attention to Durban's creative. Yabona. So when you look at Joburg, yes, there's always going to be corruption all over. There's always going to be, once there's politics involved, there's always going to be corruption, pardon me. And that's okay. But what I really appreciate about Johannesburg is that they pay attention. They put the time and effort. Your big guys, your management, yabona, your managers, your creative directors, yabona, they put in the finances if they see a gap. Like look at Ricky Rick, dog. Ricky Rick changed the freaking entire movement in hip hop just by having Cotton Fest in Joburg. So it's big, it's big. I feel like in Durban, there's still a long way to go, but that long way is probably going to be years. So if you want to grow, if you want to be mainstream, you need to go to Joburg. I feel like once we start taking each other seriously in Durban, and that starts from management right on top and promoters and so on. So we need funds, we need support more especially. We need to stop this clique thing, this whole gang. If you're not rocking with who, we're not rocking with you. Just support each other. Because, I mean, it's very sad that we have to go to Joburg to pursue our dream. Yet, majority of the stars right now are from KZN.
That's true. We do have the best talents, and it's not even just the likes of Blackie and them. I always look at someone like Kumozi, who's doing well everywhere else besides Durban. Well, he probably does have a following in Durban, but I feel like it could be he's probably more popular outside Durban. Someone like Balwanster, who I feel like works very hard as a musician, and I feel like he doesn't really get his flowers when it comes to Durban artists, but I feel like other places are appreciating him. So it seems to be a pattern, where there's not enough people supporting each other within Durban to a point where people have to go beyond that and look for support elsewhere. But as you say, it's a very tiring conversation, and I especially love the fact that though you were able to contribute and come up with solutions to that. So moving right on, we're almost at the end of the show. I really wanted to find out about obviously some of the stuff that you're doing. You did mention the podcast, right? And that you got your own little slot there, which is doing absolutely amazing.
Thank
And then
you.
you obviously also we've mentioned the plug. What else is it? Or rather, in the sort of now being an actress and such, what have you got going on that front that is sort of preparing you, for that
It's
inevitable move to
okay.
Joburg?
Um, I actually want to get away from the shadow of being a hip hop presenter. That has been my biggest fight right now, cause I have more to offer than just being a hip hop presenter. Cause trust and believe, like my work ethic is on 100. Like when I release content, it's perfection. So I think right now is just to work on TV, um, channel that whole TV presenter, get away from that shadow of being a hip hop artist. No, pardon me, hip hop presenter. Because I feel like once you start boxing yourself, it's very hard to get out of that box. Like just saying Nasip is just a podcaster. That's all. That's where it ends. Nah, man. There's a lot. So I'm right now I'm working on trying to get this faced on TV by producing, pardon me, my own segments. It's not Common Sense Loud. I'm still pushing the plug because radio put me up there, man. Put me up with the greatest, man. People know Mereece Dry as a brand just because of the plug show, just because of radio. So right now, like I said, it's TV. Just perfecting my skill with being an MC, a corporate MC. I don't want to be a club MC. I don't want to be Jay. I want to sing MC. Dog. Like club MCing is like very tiring and very annoying. Trust me, I've done it. It's fast money, but nah, man. Just trying to focus on just doing corporate gigs now. And an actress, I haven't done anything towards it, but this is my second time mentioning it in an interview that I actually want. Not I want to, but if it does happen, I'll be so happy. But I've been receiving compliments. I've been told that Mereece Dry, you can actually be an actress. So it's been on my mind. I've been thinking about it. So maybe just maybe, if I'm presented a certain role, trust and believe I'm going to grab it and make the most out of it. So I'm just working on those things. And I'm just going to keep on emphasizing that I don't want to be known as Mereece Dry, a hip hop presenter. Like, no, I tap into other stuff. And I don't have anything against hip hop. I love the genre hip hop. I feel like I gravitate more to the genre hip hop than other genres. So it's been a very difficult journey to get out of that box, because many opportunities that came by that didn't work out were just mainly hip hop, right? Oh, we want you to do this here, and it's hip hop, and it speaks to you, and all of that. Yes, give me a script that contains hip hop. Give me anything that says hip hop. I'm going to deliver to my full potential. So yeah, man, I just need to just work on that. But there's so much that I have to offer to the public, to the world, because I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot. I just don't want to be known as a South African multimedia personality. I want to travel. I want to do more than Bonang. I look up to Bonang, trust. I love Bonang. I love her work ethic. I love Hope Mbele. I love Pamela Mtanga, but I want to do more than what they're doing right now. You see, I just don't want to be known as just a presenter in South Africa. I want to be known globally. So that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, but I don't know when. Only time will tell. I just have to continue with consistency. Like I said at the beginning of the interview, consistency. Once you start something, be consistent. Be consistent and believe in yourself. I'm just so blessed to have great people around me within the industry. I have a great partner that supports me full on, because 90% of my work on Instagram or wherever is produced by him alongside me as well. So I'm just so grateful to have people that are always supporting me, because there's always going to be a time where I'm just always, you know what, I'm tired of this. Yeah. I'm tired of being a presenter. I'm tired of being a radio personality, and nothing is coming up. No offer, no big offer is coming up. No commercial offer is coming up, because it does get tiring if you're being honest. I mean, you're working for 5 years, for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, and you're not there. You're not on Kakasi FM. You're not on East Coast Radio. You are not on TV as yet, but yet people see your talent. You get compliments, you get recommended for certain gigs and all of that, but you're just not getting that big breakthrough. You see, so it's a journey, man. It's a journey, and I am learning along the way. It's a crazy journey, dog. Yo, trust me. I feel like as much as I want to be known, you know, your work has to speak for itself firstly. You can call yourself a brand. You can call yourself Mereece Dry, multimedia personality. I'm on radio, but let me see your work. Let me see your work. And I'd like to believe, or like to think, so that my work is top tier. And I did say, I'm going to say it again, emphasize, dog. I put in the work. I put in the work because I want people to love my work. Obviously, there's going to be 1-2 rotten eggs here and there. But don't let that get you down, man. And yeah, just it's going to be crazy for Mereece Dry. I'm going to be a household name. You're going to see this face on TV. You're going to be annoyed by this voice on radio. You're going to see this face on TV. Mereece Dry. Yes, yes, radio. There's going to be so much, man. I don't even know. Like right now, I'm just talking a whole lot of stuff because I'm just speaking into existence, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know I'm going to achieve all the stuff that I want and all the goals that I want through belief, through consistency, and just having the perfect pardon me, support system, and just having opportunities like you guys right now. I'm being interviewed by you, man. You recognizing me. You like, dog, I see you. I see the hustle. So it's amazing just to be on here, to many more wins, to many more, dog. Like, yo, kuningi, dog. It's a lot of stuff happening. It's a lot of stuff happening. It's a lot of stuff to come, you know. But yeah, and with all of those stuff, I'd like to say have a great support system, because you're not always going to be 100% happy and always ready, like you, ready to interview someone, You need to have someone there, or like a family, friends and all of that. They may not be in the industry, but that supports, So have a great support system. Have a great support system. Lean onto your friends, your partner, whoever, dog. Just, yeah.
Very beautiful. I'm about to get your handles. I'm about to get your handles, but we have to empower Durban as well, because you mentioned that Obonang is one of the people that you look up to. In Durban, give me, top three Nyana, creatives, people that are out there making content. It doesn't have to be not even a musician. I'm talking about people within your realm. You've got the podcast going. There's multiple others that are doing podcasts and such and creating content. So right now, which content creators or podcasters or whatever the case may be, do you reckon people should look out for from Durban specifically?
Firstly, Hope and Pele. Oh, dog, I'm obsessed with Hope and Pele. I mentioned her earlier on. I look up to her, like her journey in the industry, like how she started Kakasi. Next thing you on Metro, next thing you on TV, and if you go through her profile, it's proper content. And I've never met her, but hopefully, God, please make it happen. I do meet her, but I really do look up to her. She's so talented. Whoo, the girl is the beast. And it's crazy because she's from KZN. And she's just taking over Joburg right now. MTV base. She's an actress. She is hosting a sports show. She's on Metro FM. And you're
Yeah.
like, whoa, dog, what are you not doing? But it also goes back to what I said. She's doing a lot of things in the industry, Yabona, trying to stay afloat. Trying to stay afloat, dog. Because Yabona, you need money. But yeah, man, I'm joking. But yeah, I look up to Hope and Pele, and I'm taking notes from her. Another creative that I really feel like she's about to take the industry by a storm. She's baby steps is Bianca Dlamini. Look her out on the socials. Love Bianca Dlamini. Very welcoming, a beautiful soul. In fact, I used to work with her at DYR, and she left to pursue other stuff. But she is a beast behind the mic. She's also a makeup artist as well. So there's so much from her that she's going to deliver. So look out for Bianca Dlamini. And I'm pretty sure if you are watching and listening right now, you know Bianca Dlamini. There must be somebody that knows Bianca Dlamini, because Udumi, let's say Winnie dog. She's amazing. Snap. Who else? Who else from Durban? You said no Durban people, man. No Durban people. Let me quickly go onto my Instagram.
Okay.
Let me just quickly go into my Instagram. See who I connect with the most. Since you said no Joburg people, I'm not gonna mention MK because MK is on Kakasi, but his hustle is really crazy.
Yeah.
He's really
Yeah.
dope. Um. Oh yes, a podcast, deeply rooted. Deeply rooted. It's founded by Usilo. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really sure. He's working alongside really dope creatives, and I had the privilege to be interviewed on Deeply Rooted. And I'm not saying this because I was interviewed there, but dog, that entire space, Deeply Rooted, it's going to grow so big in Durban because they're all about the culture. They're all about creatives and all of that. And you can tell umuntu make ganga, or if a person is serious. And dog, yeah, man, I love the hustle. I love the consistency, and they're so inclusive. Yeah, Bona, it's not sorry. It's not a gatekeeping type of vibe, man. They have different artists. Same with you guys as well. Hey, Like I was actually doing my research. I was like, oh snap, they're gonna interview me now. I'm like, I need to do my research before I jump on here, man. You guys are so inclusive, you know, especially with the music. You're so versatile, you know, hip hop, rock music, e-house, e-kwaito, and all of that. Yeah, bona. So it's there's a lot from deeply rooted. They've been around for quite some time, and Hope actually worked with them at one point. So yeah, man, deeply rooted. So it's just Hope Mbele, Bianca Dlamini for now, and deeply rooted as well. So they are pushing really really hard. You guys, man, shout out to you guys, man. I love the work. I love everything, you know. You've interviewed a couple of artists that I know on the page. So shout out to you guys, man. A major, major shout out.
Thank you so much. But everyone you mentioned there is absolutely doing some amazing stuff, deeply rooted. Shout out to them as well for really just, being inclusive and doing what they're doing, for the culture. And yeah, I think that's the perfect way to end it. We've empowered, everyone in Durban, and I'm hoping that people continue to follow your journey as well. So if anyone wants to connect with you, Mereece Dry, where should they sort of hit you up? What are your social media handles? And also, before you close out, tell me about that Dry. Your surname cannot be Dry. What is your surname?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, before we get into that, I'm Googleable. Just type in Mereece Dry and you'll find all my handles. Whatever, I'm joking, man. On Instagram, I am me_Reece Dry. Or you can just simply type out Mereece Dry. I'm like the first name there, you'll see Mereece Dry. I'm very active on Facebook as well, so it's just Mereece Dry. Twitter, no, I don't have Twitter. That place is toxic. TikTok, I'm very active, but I actually lost my accounts on TikTok, so I'm trying to recover my accounts on TikTok. It's Mereece Dry. So yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn as well, Mereece Dry. You know, the corporate guys that are watching. If you want to work, Mereece Dry. Mereece Dry, Mereece Dry, Mereece Dry. That's actually my government's name and surname.
No, no ways.
I'm telling you, man, it's Mereece Annalise Dry. So my mom is colored. Mom is
Ah,
colored
makes
and my
sense.
dad is black. So grew up with my mom and yeah, took over the Dry surname. In fact, it was supposed to be in Afrikaans. It's supposed to be Drai. So my granny says they made a mistake at Home Affairs and she just left it as it is, as Dry. So I've been riding with Mereece Dry ever since, man. And I like it because people like right now you like Mereece Dry, huh? That's is that a stage name? People actually say it's a stage name, and I'm like, no, Try. This other time, this guy we were talking, and he's like, oh, what's your name, Mereece? Your surname Trying. I'm Jay. What's he? Try. I don't get it, dog. Where's your ID? And he was like so serious. He's like, where's your ID? I was like, no, it's actually Mereece Dry. At
Yeah,
first, I used to be so uncomfortable, you know? Like, okay, why would you doubt that my name is Mereece Dry?
yeah.
But now, as time went by, I was like, ah, man, people are always going to be forward and ask, umbuzo, ongahlangene nabo, Mereece Dry. But it's not a stage name. It's my government name. And yeah, that's my government surname as well. Funny story is that before Mereece Dry, there was actually Anna Reese. I used to call myself Anna Reese on air. Ah, dog, didn't work out. We just stuck with Mereece Dry. They were like, nah, Anna Reese sounds too old. Let's just stick to Mereece Dry. So yeah, man. Like I bump into people and they never call me by Mereece. It's always Mereece Dry. I'm like, yeah, Mereece Dry. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But just
yeah.
to wrap it up, thank you so much for having me. And just to clarify, I've been thinking before people come at me, because people are gonna come at me, obviously.
Okay.
Not all Durban hip hop artists, not all Durban hip hop artists are like, because I did mention that every hip hop artist in Durban,
Okay.
majority though, majority. So none niyasebenza, abantu abasebenzayo, but there's just those couple of rotten eggs that spoil it for the other guys, but not all of you guys, man. So yeah.
Mereece Dry, thank you so much for, coming through to the show. And it's really just been epic. And doing this with me, spending an entire hour, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I really hope this isn't the last time. I know you're going to be going far. I know everything you spoke about is going to happen. So, let's let's just pray on it and just continue, speaking it into existence. What song are we closing out with? What's your favorite song right now by a local artist? It has to be a local artist.
Okay, if you know Mereece Dry, I'm a huge fan of this artist. I'm not going to mention him now. I'm a huge fan because he's from Sydenham and I'm from Sydenham as well. And I've witnessed his journey. Well, now he's big now. So the reason why I also like the song is because, dog, like he speaks about his journey, yabona. Like he's finally made it, yabona. Sengikhona, dog, I'm here. So I feel like that's going to be my song once I'm on that big radio station or big TV production house. It's Sika by Blackie namhlanje ngizaliwe. Never mind the chorus. Just listen to the lyrics, dog. Akwazi kwamnandi ukuphumelela, dog. Hey, dog. And it's crazy, man. Like, yeah. So that's my favorite song. I was actually listening to it before we began this whole shandis, right? I was like, yeah, ne, it's happening. It's happening. I was like, mnandi ukuphumelela. I'm being asked, I'm being interviewed. Yabona. So yeah, man. Hopefully you enjoy that tune by Blackie. He's a really dope artist, and check him out on all the socials, man. Really humble guy. So yeah, man, that's my favorite song.
100% Mereece Dry. Thank you once again to anyone who's tuning into this. It's available on the website www.sludgeunderground.com. Do get some merch. It is the best way that you can literally support us. Do support Mereece Dry on her journey. Continue following her on social media and everywhere. We're going to be closing out with Siga by Blackie. Until next time, it is bye for now.
Izinto zami ziyahlangana